multiplying whole numbers by decimals. Learning goal. I can multiply whole numbers by decimals and explain why the method and answers make sense. Sarah took 4/10 of a number and got 248. Describe how you could figure out her starting number. What was Sarah's starting number? Why does your answer make sense? Here's an example answer. If I know 4/10 of something, I can divide that by 4 to figure out 1/10, and if I know 1/10, then I can multiply that by 10 to find the original number. I know that if 4/10 of Sarah's starting number is 248, that's what we're told at the start here, then 1/10 is 248 divided by 4, or it's 1/4 of 248. So we've got 248 divided by 4, which is equal to 62. If 62 is 1/10 of Sarah's starting number, then the whole amount must be 10 times that. So 10 times 62, which is equal to 620. So Sarah's starting number must be 620. That makes sense, since 4/10 of something is less than half of it, but not a lot less. 248 is less than half of 620, but not by a lot. Now we'll follow through this logic in a more mathematical way. So we've got 4/10 times some number that we don't know is equal to 248. Now we want to end up with 1/10 times some number. But if we've got 1/10, to get rid of this 4 that we've got here, we need to divide the other side by 4. So 248 divided by 4. So now we've got 1/10 of some number is equal to 248 divided by 4. But we want to get just this number all on its own because we want to know what that number is. So in order to get rid of the 1/10 times that number, we're going to multiply effectively both sides of an equation now by 10. So to get rid of this, if we multiply that times 10, we end up with 10 over 10. Remember, 10 times 1/10 is equal to 10 over 10, which is just equal to 1. So to get rid of that 10th, we're multiplying both sides by 10, so we'll be left with just this question mark is equal to 248 divided by 4 times 10. We move it up here so we've got a little more room. So that's 2,480 divided by 4. And if we do that math, we end up with, not surprisingly, 620. How would you use multiplication to write two groups of 620? The answer is you show it as 2 times 620. How would you use multiplication to write 4/10 of 620? The answer is 4 over 10 times 620, or 0.4 times 620. Now, are two groups of 620 the same as 620 groups of 2? Are 4/10 of 620 the same as 620 groups of 4/10? The answer in both cases is most definitely yes. It doesn't matter what order you do multiplication in, whether you do 3 times 4 or 4 times 3, they both equal 12. The community is having its annual art sale, and Nick and Martha decide to sell some of their paintings. To be fair, they agree to sell all of their paintings for the same price. Solve each question that follows, and then write an equation that describes the situation. Include a decimal number in your equation. Imagine Nick and Martha sold 10 paintings together for a total of $215. Choose a number of paintings that Nick sold. How much is his share of the $215? So if we think about this, we've got the number of paintings sold by Nick, and we don't know that number. We've got the number of paintings sold by Martha, and we don't know that number either. We do know that the number of paintings sold by Nick plus the number sold by Martha are equal to 10. And we know that the total price is $215. Now we're asked to choose a number of paintings that Nick sold, so that's just an arbitrary number. Obviously it's going to have to be less than 10 because they only sold 10 in total. So let's say that the number that Nick sold, we're going to say, is equal to 5. We know then that Martha, of course, would also have sold 5. And very simply then, Nick's share of the paintings would be 5 out of 10 times the $215. 5 out of 10 is equal to 1/2 times 215. And 1/2 of 215 is 107.5, or $107.50. Now imagine Nick and Martha sold 10 paintings together for a total of $345. This time we'll assume that Nick sold 3 paintings. That means Martha sold 7, total of 10 paintings. And now Nick's share of the sales will be 3 out of 10 times 345, which is equal to 103.5. Therefore, Nick's share of the sales is $103.50. Choosing a different number for Nick again. This time he's got 4, Martha's got 6. So 4/10 times 85. So 4/10 of 85 is 34. And it's even, so there's no cents this time. Nick's share of the sales is $34. Lesson summary. Just as multiplying a number by 10 makes it 10 times as big, multiplying by 0.1, or 1/10, makes it 1/10 as big. Let's look at an example of 431. We've got its place value chart laid out here. We've got 4 hundredths, 3 tens, and 1 1. So 431. If we multiply that by 10, we can see that everything shifted this way. The ones became tens, the tens became hundreds, and the hundreds became thousands. Now, when we multiply by 0.1 or by 1/10, everything shifts the other way. Another way of thinking about it is if we take 0.1 times 431, remember the decimal place is currently sitting at the end there, and if we multiply by 0.1, we take that 431 and we just move the decimal place 1 position to the left. So 4 hundreds become 4 tens, 3 tens become 3 ones, and 1 1 becomes 1/10. You can use 0.1 of a number to figure out the product of that number and any decimal tenth. For example, to figure out 0.2 times 416, you could first figure out 0.1 times 416 and then double the result. That's what you're seeing here. So 0.2 times 416 is equal to 2 times 1/10, or 0.1, times 416. So that's 2 times 41.6, because we've taken the decimal place from the right-hand side of the 6 and moved it to the left-hand side of the 6. Then we can multiply the 41.6 fairly easily by multiplying by 2 to get 83.2. You can also use this relationship to determine products of a number and other decimal tenths. For example, 0.3 times 416 is the same as triple 0.1 times 416. And 0.8 times 416 is the same as 8 times 0.1 times 416. You can use an area model to show multiplication by decimal tenths. To multiply 0.2 times 416, imagine a very long rectangle that is 0.2 meters by 416 meters. That rectangle is 1/10 the size of a rectangle that is 2 meters times 416 meters. So its area is 1/10 of 2 times 416. So we see that 0.2 times 416 is equal to 2 times 416 divided by 10, or 2 times 416 times 0.1. 416 is fairly easy to double to get 832, and then dividing that by 10, we just move the decimal one position to the left and we get 83.2. You can think in tenths to multiply a whole number by decimal tenths. For example, to multiply 0.4 times 215, you can think 4 tenths of 215. So 4 tenths times 215 is 860 tenths. 860 tenths is equal to 86.0. So 0.4 times 215 is equal to 86.0. The key terms: product. Product is the result of multiplying. For example, in 3 times 4 equals 12, 12 is the product. Your turn.